only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We make the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We're a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And, of course, we celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. What are we celebrating today? Well, obviously, we are in the greatest country in the world. But, hey, let's take a look at this one. National Hand Roll Day. I like that one. Having beaten anorexia, National Fried Chicken Day. Wouldn't you think that fried chicken would have been the day that we would celebrate on the 4th of July holiday? You know, just fried chicken, hot dogs, oh, wait a second. This is the year of the pandemic. We don't get to celebrate any of those things this year. It is a little bit odd timing. But hey, let's take a look at what the markets are doing today. Dow Jones Industrial Average is way up as I broadcast this morning. Now, by the time we get to our friends at KMET this afternoon or this evening, the different story could be all the way through. Hey, look at this one that popped up in the news over the weekend. A bill extending the Paycheck Protection Program got the president's signature over the weekend. You may not have known that because, you know, the Cannabis News Network, they don't always show what the president is doing. They don't want you to see what he's doing. I watched what was going on over the weekend. Now, you know, it fascinates me because regardless of whether you like the president of the United States or you dislike the president of the United States, he is the president of the United States. 60 million people voted for him. He won the Electoral College, and based on the Supreme Court ruling 9-0, that will remain the methodology of electing our president. I know that there's some people that are upset about that, but the president goes out Friday night and delivers an address from Mount Rushmore. Now, think about this. This was planned well before the pandemic, well before any of these things going on. The president really knew. Some of us don't believe this. They don't understand some of these things. They don't realize that the president does know what's going on. But July 4th comes about the same time every year. Two of the three largest cable news organizations in America, Cannabis News Network, showed 3 minutes, 25 seconds of the event, but not live. MSNBC Hee-Haw gave the president a whopping 4 minutes, 44 seconds live. This was out of the 42-minute speech at Mount Rushmore that offered a full-throated defense of 4 presidents, not including President Trump. Right, so talking about the 4 presidents that are engraved in the South Dakota mountainside. But, you know, something that wasn't newsworthy for the Cannabis News Network. They were probably playing another rerun of something that nobody wanted to watch. MSNBC Hee-Haw, who knows what they were doing. But they decide that the president's remarks are not something that is newsworthy. Now, how can you be a news station and not cover the news of the most powerful person in the world? Does it make sense to you? Do you understand how that works? I can't understand it. So if you can, just please put a comment right in there for me so I can see, and maybe it'll help me understand these things. But going back to our markets, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 320 points, S&P 500 up 42, NASDAQ up 215. Oil is also up about 3 cents, not a whole heck of a lot, but we did see that a judge, at least temporarily, has halted the Dakota pipeline. So we don't want to get any fuel going through there. What's that going to do to our gas price? Well, in Calizuela, we know the gas prices are always going up because we like to keep adding taxes to everything we do. Why would we ever want to give a benefit to the citizens of Calizuela? National average right now, $2.18 a gallon, flat from yesterday. Calizuela, obviously the highest priced place on the continental United States to get gasoline by a lot. I mean, you look at it, Pennsylvania, 243.4, Illinois, 236.7, Colorado, 247.1, Washington, 273.8, Oregon, 260.2, Nevada, 262.5, and Calizuela, 309.5, the only other state in the union that has gasoline prices above $3 a gallon is Hawaii, $3.20.4. Again, Calizuela, average price of a gallon of gasoline, $309.5. That is not fair. Ow! But if you keep voting for the same people, don't complain because they're the ones that bring that to you. The governor that tells us we cannot sing in church, although I don't go to church, but the governor that tells us that singing is not allowed in church is the one that is pushing these high prices, high taxes. Your thoughts? Look forward to hearing them. I'm always open to respectful conversation. Let's see what else is going on in the rate market. The 10-year Treasury up just a little bit. 0.692 is the yield on a 10-year Treasury. But that means that we've got some good numbers in interest rates for refinances. So if you haven't done that refinance yet, call the team and talk about a refinance. That might be the best thing for you. I'm just throwing that out there, that refinancing right now, if you haven't looked into it, you should be looking into it. And there's a lot of people that will give you the wrong information as to when your break-even point is for a refinance. We talked about that a little bit last week. Don't just look at the change in your payment, because that's going to give you misleading information. So if your payment goes down by $230 a month, costs you $2,300 to refinance, that is not a 10-month break-even period, because part of the money, what you want to really look at is what is the difference in the interest you're paying each month. Not the amount of the payment each month, but what's the difference in interest each month. If the interest goes down, the interest should go down by more than what you're saving, because otherwise, why would you be doing it? So it may be that you're looking at a 8-month or 9-month break even. On a 15-year, you might be looking at a 5-month break even though your payment might be going up. It's because the interest savings, and where's the rest of that money going to? Yes, it's going to your principal. So your principal is dropping. A lot of people are not going to share that information with you. They're not going to share that methodology with you. Just think about it, remember it, and if you don't have someone giving you that guidance, give us a call at 800-306-1990. The team would be happy to adopt your mortgage and consistently be watching that for you to see what the market is doing. We're always looking to see what the market is doing for the private clients because it's not easily identified. What else is going on in the world today? The Atlanta mayor makes an impassioned plea after the killing of 8-year-old near a Black Lives Matter protest site. It's amazing how this continues to go on. I was down in San Diego over the weekend, and we did run across a Black Lives Matter, I would call it assembly, because I made the comment to those in my car that this is the way it's supposed to be done in the United States of America. They had a whole group of people that were marching. When the light turned red, they stopped. The other part of the group stopped at the other side of the intersection, waited for them. They did not block traffic. They did not interrupt other people. They just wanted to make their voice heard. That's what America is all about. But you get these goofballs like Kaepernick and LeBron James and others who think it's all about protesting. It's all about changing everything, forcing their ideas on everybody. That'll never work. I promise you that you cannot force people to follow your ideas. Look what's happening right now in the mask controversy. Are people wearing masks of their own free volition? No. Look what's happening in the churches. Are people saying they're not going to go to church? No. Look what's happening in restaurants. They're finding ways to circumvent government orders. But one of the reasons that that's happening is people don't believe what's going on in the government because we've got a corrupt media. Look at what I just told you about CNN, MSNBC, hee-haw. There's so much corruption in these organizations. They don't want you to know the truth. I'm going to share something with you that you're going to probably not hear anywhere else. But think about this. On April 6th, the height of the pandemic, there was 151,500 tests administered. Last week on Thursday, 635,587 tests. Now, when you have a five-fold increase in tests, you have to expect either a five-fold, just to be on par, you'd have to have a five-fold increase on positive cases to say the pandemic has gotten no better or no worse. But when we look at some of the different areas, when they're reporting, we're seeing increases, absolutely. But when we were seeing 150 to 200 cases in Orange County, and now that we've got a five-fold increase in the number of tests, are we seeing 1,000 cases? No, we're at like 500 cases, 600. Now, I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm just saying that you have to compare apples and apples, because if you're starting to increase the number of tests, well, you have to expect that there's going to be more cases of positive issues. I look right now, as of this morning, or actually this is as of July 5th notes, that Orange County has 663 positive cases for the day. Cumulative cases to date, 16,854. Some of the areas, they're now starting, it's about time to report recovered to date. Orange County says 8,350. Think about that. What are the reported cases of recovered? I'm going to start having to get in the Riverside numbers, because I know that there are a lot of us now that have joined the network with our new family affiliation on AM 1490 KMET. So we're going to start we'll start getting some Riverside numbers, Inland Empire numbers, and sharing those with you as well. But think about what's going on in our country. We're testing more people. We're going to absolutely have more positive cases. As long as the number of cases goes up by less than the increase of tests, then we're on the right track. But you're not going to hear that from the government, because it does not seem to fit their agenda. Don't understand why they've got the agenda of fear. Well, yes, we do. We do. They hate the president. That's the only reason they've got this agenda of fear. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we got a great broadcast lined up for you today. We're going to talk about refinancing. Does it make sense? We're going to talk about where the current market is on real estate. There's a lot going on in the real estate world. So we're going to talk about what's going on in the current market. Are things changing? Does it make sense where we're heading? Does the changes tie in? We're also going to talk a bit about your credit. There's a lot of issues that go on credit. I hate having a roommate. What can you do about it? Zombie credit, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance the home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs and the products. Give me a call, 800-306-1990. We will see if we can help you. Again, we talked about the refis a little bit earlier, but hey, are you paying rent right now? Simple question. Are you paying rent right now because you don't think you have enough money for a down payment to buy your own house? Are you paying rent right now because you don't think you can afford to own your own home? Well, our friends at Gold Star have a program that could potentially give you up to $25,000 to help with your down payment of a new home. And with today's incredibly low interest rates, that might even get it to a point where your monthly payment is less than what you're paying right now. So why are you renting? Can you just answer that question? Why haven't you at least explored the idea of potentially making a change to help your family? I throw that out there for you just to give you a little food for thought. But hey, let's take a look at what's going on in the markets right now as we continue looking and seeing mortgage-backed securities are basically flat as we speak. We can't do anything about that. They're just sitting there. We're looking at the 10-year Treasury, as I mentioned to you earlier. Now it's up 3 basis points. That's at 0.694. So we watch that one for you. We're looking at mortgage-backed securities. The mortgage-backed securities, again, they're flat. All that we ask, and why? What's going on that's creating these numbers within the mortgage market, within the world? Because as you know, you can find all that data right there on the super secret website, google.com. Black Knight reported that more than 75% of homeowners have mortgage rates above 3.5% and have tappable home equity, meaning that they could take cash out while leaving a 20% buffer. There's a record high of $6.5 trillion in home equity that is available to pull out in a cash out refi. Make sure to use the debt consolidation tools available from your friends at Gold Star Mortgage. We go and talk about it. Here's the issue. So I digress. I get down these rabbit trails every once in a while because I just love helping folks and watching how families can benefit where they don't think they can. Had a recent family that was looking at a 3.5% mortgage rate. And they said, "Oh, Ron, there's nothing that we can do about that. But we've got all this credit card debt, and we've got car loans, and we've got student loans." And I said, what does the difference, what your credit card debt is, or what your home mortgage debt is, or interest rate? My philosophy, and I'll tell you this over and over again, strategy beats rate every single time. Strategy beats rate every single time. So here's the issue, is when you look and say, okay, I've got a $300,000 mortgage, and I've got, just as this suggests, quite a bit of equity in my property. But I've got a credit card bill at 29%. I've got another credit card bill at 29%. I've got another credit card bill at 20%. And I've got an auto loan at 12%, and I've got student loan debt at 6 and 7%. And we look at all of that stuff and we put it all together and we say, okay, what is your blended household interest rate? And we do that with weighting. We weight those numbers to see, because a $300,000 mortgage at 3.5% is going to carry a lot more weight than a $5,000 credit card at 20%. So we weight them based on how much that balance is. And we look at that and we say, something, your blended household interest rate, maybe 4%, 4.5%, 5%, 5.5%. We don't know what the exact numbers are, but we know that we've got a blended household interest rate of something that's going to be greater than 3.5, because the biggest debt is at 3.5. You got all these other debts that go with it. And I look at some of these and you say, okay, well, the blended number comes out to, like I say, 4 or 5%. Well, now we do a cash out refi. And even if that cash out refi is significantly higher than your 3.5%, maybe it's 4.5%, maybe it's 4%, whatever the number is, that's called strategy, right? You look at that number and you say, I'm now saving my family. I've seen it where we've saved a family as much as $700-800 a month just by doing a blended household interest rate, a blended rate calculation. You say, well, but Ron, now I've taken my 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 year car loan and put it into a 30-year loan. Well, that's true. But again, we go back to strategy and we look and we say, we just saved $700 or $800 a month. What does that $700 or $800 a month represent? That is interest going to some financial institution. Well, you don't have to help the financial institutions. They make billions of dollars a year. I promise you, almost every one of the financial institutions are making more money than you are. They've got more income than you have. Even if they don't have more income than you have, do you care what their income is, or do you care what your family's income is? What if we get you that loan even at a higher interest rate, but it saves you that money? And now we take a vast majority of that savings and make that as a bonus or a principal payment on your mortgage every single month. I've seen it go from a 30-year loan when we take and apply a portion of those savings to the principal, where that 30-year loan goes down to 17 years. Right? So it's still longer than that 6-year, but you've taken your 30-year mortgage and brought that down significantly as well. Wouldn't you rather have your mortgage payment go way down and have the car payment go up? Right? We don't mind if that car payment is extended out. Now, what I'm going to suggest to you is at the same time you're making that mortgage payment or the extra principal payment, budget money in savings for a new car, because your car is not going to last as long as your house is. Right? So save that money so that you can then go and buy another car. I personally go and I buy used cars. I can find used cars with less than 20,000 miles on them on almost everything. If you can't, give me a call again, 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with a friend who is a good source for people of buying late model cars. You can buy a 2018, 2019, maybe even a 2020 that's got under 20,000 miles on it. You save a boatload of money. But what I want you to do is save the money before then, and that way you can call them up and say, I have saved $22,000, or I have saved $15,000, or I have saved $10,000, and I want to go out and I want to buy for cash a new car. Right? Then you don't have a car payment. You don't have that stress in your life. Maybe it's not the fancy Rolls Royce that you've been dreaming of, but it's a nice car within good condition. They give you a rating on the car from 1 to 5, and they do a very, very thorough examination, and they tell you what's going on with the vehicle. I'm going to share with you, it's one of the best things that we've done. I think last year we bought, or the year before, one of them, we bought two cars. Neither one of them new. Both had under 20,000 miles on them, and we saved a lot of money by making a simple adjustment to what we were looking at buying. And one of my favorite things in the whole world is saving boatloads of money on expenses. And I'll go and have a great dinner. I enjoy that, but I like saving on expenses, things that are depreciating. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, latest unemployment report, great news for the most part. What is a zombie debt and why is it a problem? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about out all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest, SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. SLT Home Digest. Great information, and it's free from your friends at Ron Siegel Radio. The latest unemployment report. Great news for the most part. The Bureau of Labor Statistics released their latest employment situation summary last Thursday, and it again beat analyst expectations in a big way. The consensus was for 3,074,000 jobs to be added in June. The report revealed that 4,800,000 jobs were added. The unemployment rate fell to 11.1% from 13.3% last month. Again, excellent news as the unemployment rate fell for the second consecutive month. However, there's still a long way to go before the economy fully recovers, as 17.8 million Americans remain unemployed. Two interesting insights on the report. What about a supposed misclassification? The BLS addressed this at length in a blog post last week and concluded by saying, quote, regardless of the assumptions we might make about misclassifications, the trend in the unemployment rate over the period in question is the same. The rate increased in March and April and eased in May, unquote. They specifically noted the issue in the latest report by explaining that if they adjusted the rate for the potential miscalculation, it would increase from 11.1 to 12.1, which is lower than the adjusted rate of 16.4% last month. They went on to say, quote, however, this represents the upper bound of our estimate of misclassification and probably overstates the size of the misclassification error, unquote. Does the shutdown of parts of the economy skew the unemployment numbers? Because the uniqueness of 2020 impacts the employment situation in so many ways, each jobs report is now examined with a microscope to make sure the headlines generated by the report accurately convey what's happening in the job market. One such an analysis is done by Jed Kolko, chief economist at Indeed. He believes the extraordinary number of people in the temporary unemployed category confuses the broader issue of how many people have permanently lost their job. He adjusts for this when calculating his quote-unquote core unemployment rate, which subtracts temporary layoffs and adds unemployed who did not search for a job recently. The bad news is that his analysis reveals that the number of permanently unemployed is still rising from 4.6 in April to 5.9 last month. The good news, however, is when you use his methodology to look back at the Great Recession, today's core unemployment rate is significantly lower, 5.9% versus 10.5% in April 2010. Bottom line, last week's jobs report was much better than most expected. However, we should remain cautious in our optimism. As the Wall Street Journal explained in their analysis of the jobs report, quote, U.S. jobs growth surged last month, underscoring the economy's capacity for a quick rebound. If businesses continue to reopen and consumers regain confidence, a recent coronavirus spike, however, could undermine trends captured in the latest jobs report, unquote. Now, one thing that they don't talk about in some of these different reports that we review is they don't talk about where is our society in these issues. Do you think that society is going to allow for another shutdown like we had in March and April? I don't know. I look forward to your comments on that, but I don't think so. I think we're looking at this saying, you know something, this is America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. We understand that there's a virus. We understand that it is very, very serious. But we also understand that we've got to take care of our families, that we've got to keep food on the table, that the government cannot afford to keep sending out checks. How many people are you going to wait? Here's a very simple question, because it's something that every family is going to have to deal with. The $600 bonus money on unemployment. And yes, I understand that some people, many people, are making more money on unemployment than they made with their job. But that money runs out the end of July. I would highly doubt that that's going to get through Congress and the president to get reinstated or extended. Now, I don't know whether it will or won't. I don't have a crystal ball. I would guess that if it does, it's going to be diminished in some way. They're not going to do a full 600 because they know too many people are making more money unemployed than if they went back to work. So here's the question I have for you. Are you going to wait until you see what Congress does? I hate when we have to wait for Congress because they are always last minute and you can't count on them for anything. But in any event, are you going to wait to see what Congress does in the next 3 weeks? That's not a very long time. Are you going to wait and see what they do? Or are you going to and hope for the best? Or are you going to go out and take action right now? Because if you wait until the end of July and you get, say, 10 million people going out job hunting, that's going to be an increase in the supply of labor. Whenever we have an increase in the supply of anything, that means prices go down. Right now, people are sitting home, they're collecting their unemployment, and there are jobs to be had, there are jobs to be filled. Do you think an employer is going to look more favorably at you going back to work right now or finding a job right now or a new employer right now when the employer needs help? And maybe they're going to pay you that $15, $16, $17, $14 an hour, whatever it is. Or are you going to wait? And when there's a massive amount of people for employers to choose from, and they say, you know something, I think I can get somebody for $12 an hour and I don't have to pay $15. Increase in supply means that pricing is going to go down unless there is an increase in the demand. Well, the demand is already there. So right now there's a demand but no supply, which means prices are going to be higher. When the supply comes online, prices are going to be lower. That's wages lower. So you may get in the short run that extra $600, $1,200, $1,800, which is all that's left in that in the CARES Act bonus. But what's that going to cost you over the long run? What's that going to cost you in job growth? What's that going to cost you in the ability to buy a new home? Right? Because you can't buy that new home that I told you about with a down payment assistance that is available from our friends at Gold Star Mortgage right now. Don't know how long it'll last, but it's there right now. But you can't do that when you're on unemployment. You have to have a job. You have to have a job history. You have to show earnings. Now, if you go back to your old job, well, you go and they show it as a furloughed time, and you're going to benefit. If you don't have a job, you can't get that in any way. So I'm going to suggest to you, take advantage of the market. Why is it that you think that the people that are ultra successful, ultra wealthy, what do you think they do? They go about business. They take care of the market. They buy when things are not good. The people that made a huge fortune in real estate were out there buying in 2009, 2010, 2011. What was going on then? We were in the midst of the Great Recession. Real estate prices were down significantly because real estate caused that recession. Real estate was not the cause of what we're going through now. It's a virus, nothing to do with real estate. There's a large demand for real estate right now. There are people out there wishing that more people would put their homes up for sale, right? So with that in mind, if you have a job and you can take advantage of the down payment assistance and get your share of that potential $25,000 in assistance money, and these unbelievably low interest rates if you qualify, doesn't it make sense to you to own your own piece of Southern California? Then you don't have to worry about a landlord increasing your rent ever. Don't have to worry about a landlord saying you can't have that dog you want. You can't change the color of your house. You don't have to worry about any of those things because you own your own home. Your wealth is growing. You've got a forced savings account. That's called equity. That's called appreciation, because every month when you make a payment, when you pay rent, you're paying down your landlord's mortgage. When you pay rent or mortgage on your own property, you're paying down your own mortgage, increasing your family's net worth. That's what we're looking for. That's what the plan is. That's what the strategy is. That's what we're trying to talk to you about at Ron Siegel Radio. That's why we constantly do these broadcasts. See, we got to love those noises there when you start moving around a microphone. But that's what we're talking about right here. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, what is zombie debt? Why is it a problem? And how to afford living alone and not have a roommate, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter at Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending. Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending lending team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. What it is wrong. What are you doing about it? We know it's wrong because everyone I've ever seen is wrong over the last about 20 plus years. I would question whether yours is going to be the first one that's accurate, completely accurate. I've seen some pretty high credit scores. The highest I think I've seen is an 834. That is a FICO score, not Vantage score, FICO score. And that had errors on it as well. So I question whether any of them are correct. I know CNN did that, or 60 Minutes did that case several years back, talking about the idea that there are some accurate reports that only 20% of them have errors, but I'd love to see the 80% or at least one of those 80% that is completely accurate. So what is zombie debt? Why is it a problem? How does zombie debt happen? That's a big question as well. Zombie debt is exactly what it sounds like. It's debt that's already dead and shouldn't be living on your credit report, but for whatever reason, it's risen from the grave and chasing you down. Find out what you need to know about zombie debt and how to deal with it. So how does zombie debt happen? The most common cases of zombie debt involve collection activities. Here's an example of how a zombie might rise with help from a collection agency. You default on a debt. The original lender or collection agency fails to collect within the statute of limitations. I believe that's 4 years in California. I am not an attorney, so I cannot tell you precisely. The unpaid debt falls off your credit report after a certain amount of time. But a separate collection agency which purchased the debt for pennies on the dollar at some point revives the debt and tries to collect it. That collection agency may report the debt is owed to the credit bureaus. Suddenly, the debt reappears on your credit report, except now it's zombie debt. Zombie debts and judgments. If the original creditor went to court and obtained a judgment against you for debt, the zombie debt cycle can be more complicated. It can also seem a bit more vicious. First, judgments provide the creditor with the legal means to collect via actions such as wage garnishments or bank account liens. How long a judgment is good for depends on the state it was issued in, but most states allow judgments to be renewed at least once. Some states allow judgments to be renewed an unlimited number of times, which makes them potentially limitless. Judgments can also show up on your credit report for years in some states. Judgments might show up for 2 decades if the creditor renews them. Why is some zombie debt such a problem? First, if you legitimately owe the debt and it's still collectible, you could find yourself facing collection activities. That can include wage garnishments or levies. The result can be difficult financial hit that makes it hard for you to recover your other obligations, for you to cover your other obligations. Even if the debt is truly dead and no longer collectible, if it resurfaces on your credit report, it can bring down your score. That makes it harder to get new credit. How can you protect yourself from zombie debt collectors? Fans of pop culture movies and comic books know how to kill a zombie. You go for the headshot, but the answer to slaying zombie debt is not so simple. How you protect yourself against zombie debt collectors depends on why the debt is sticking around or coming back to life to begin with. Debts past the statute of limitations in cases where the debt collector is trying to collect a debt that has been revived past the statute of limitations. The law is on your side. Send the debt collector a letter disputing the debt. Legally, they must halt collections activity until they provide documented proof that the debt is legal and still collectible. Obviously, zombie debt collectors aren't always playing the same rules as others, though. In some cases, they may be aggressive in their pursuit of payment. Make sure you understand your rights under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Stand up for your rights and consider consulting with an attorney if you believe creditors are infringing on those rights. Remember that one of your rights is to an accurate credit report. If a collection agency reports a dead debt that cannot be collected to the credit bureau, you may be able to dispute it when judgments turn dead into undead. If a judgment has been entered and the creditor can renew it, the debt could be collectible for years. In some cases, you could be on the hook for decades. There are a few options for dealing with this type of zombie debt. First, contact the creditor that originally secured the judgment. Work directly with them and not a secondary collection agency, if at all possible. Try to negotiate a settlement. The debt is old now, and they may accept a partial payment of the balance and agree to list the collection as paid. Once that occurs, no one else can continue to take action to collect the money from you. If you can't afford to settle the debt or you're dealing with several collection accounts or judgments, you might consider bankruptcy. Bankruptcy converts all debts covered under the plan into secure and non-secure debts. Then they're all treated the same way, regardless of whether a judgment was entered. While you're under the protection of bankruptcy, no creditor covered by the petition can take any action to collect from you. Instead, they are paid based on a schedule by the bankruptcy trustee. Once the bankruptcy is finalized, the debts are considered settled and paid off. Getting help dealing with zombie debt, battling zombies requires skill and fortitude. So does dealing with zombie debt. If you're not sure where to start to revive your struggling credit score and slay zombie debt, consider working with a credit repair agency. There are a lot of phony ones out there. Give me a call, 800-306-1990. We do know some very, very credible companies that you can work with. We can put you in touch. Again, that's from we have friends at Credit Sanitizer. Right now, the best one that we've seen is Blue Water Credit. Jeff Sipes and his team at Blue Water Credit are doing an amazing job for a lot of listeners of Ron Siegel Radio. That's the Your Credit Matters segment, again, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? So I get this one all the time because of leading a lending team and having the discussions frequently about strategy to own your own home. Stop renting. I've talked to you a couple times today and in the past about the down payment assistance programs where our friends at Gold Star Mortgage have access to down payment assistance up to $25,000 to help you with the purchase of a new home at amazing interest rates depending upon your qualifications. But what if you want to have a roommate? What if you don't want to have a roommate? You don't have to be rich to afford living alone. Check out some tips for managing and saving money to help you prepare to foot the bill for living alone. Number one is create a budget. A personal budget. First, you must have a personal budget. If every bill falls on you, You need to know exactly how much money you have to go around. A personal budget takes your monthly income and applies it to all the debts and other obligations you have. It also helps you plan to save and lets you know if you have enough to splurge on dinner out or concert tickets. Almost 30% of the people think they do not need a budget, and many people turn away from creating a budget because they think it's too controlling or they're scared to face the numbers. But understanding exactly how much you should spend on groceries and other things each month is actually freeing. And it helps you manage money in a way that will help you afford living on your own. Budgeting can be fun and easy with the right tools. You can start with a notebook or pen or a budgeting app. Very simple. Do what feels right to you so you're more likely to continue budgeting as you move out on your own. Number 2, consolidate debt. We talked about that a little bit earlier in the broadcast. Debt is a common reason many people can't afford to live on their own. Consolidating your debt is one way to potentially reduce how much it costs you. Number 3, open a high-yield savings account. If you don't have a lot of debt, you're already ahead of the game, but you still might not have a lot of cash on hand, and you need some money to move into a new space. At minimum, you likely have to put down the first month's rent and a security deposit, or, again, we talked about down payment assistance to help you get into your own home for less money than your lease startup. So that's another good solution for you. Save money. Now you've opened that high-yield savings account. You need to find a way to fund it, saving money from your budget. Increase your income is another big one. Check out your credit scores. We always want to do that. Build your credit. We'll talk about that more and more in the days and weeks to come. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John and Sean for engineering us today, and a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.